Hi, my name is Maureen Du Preez. I'm 53 years old and I am a cancer survivor. I am from Glenmore in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, and yes, I had an experience with cancer 2 years ago, but I'm definitely a survivor. Okay, so I was diagnosed in November 2019. Being Women's Cancer Awareness, Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, my daughter, who was a radiographer for Smit and Partners at the time, convinced me it was overdue time for me to come for a mammogram. And you know, moms are always busy, so she made the appointment and I came in and had my mammogram. And they were not happy with my mammogram, so they sent me straight for an ultrasound. They were still not happy, so one of the radiologists suggested I come in the following week and have a biopsy. Still, to me, thinking it's all just nothing, I'm going to be absolutely fine because I'm always positive about everything. And I'm a very determined person, so I'm thinking in the back of my mind, they're going to find something there. I'd had a boating accident 2 years before, and I had taken a tumble and obviously hit my breast in the accident. So Dr. Chick did also say it could be the trauma, it could be scar tissue, it could be a lot of things, but we were hoping it was the trauma to the breast. Unfortunately for me, when I came in for my biopsy, they dug deeper and deeper and deeper. They took 18 tissue samples and sent them away. And 3 days later, I got the news that I had breast cancer. So yeah, it was a very big shock in my life. I lost my first husband to cancer at the age of, he was 29, I was 27. So I was 27 and a widow with a 2-year-old. And I never ever thought for once in my life that I would be going back to the oncology center and going through what he went through 27 years ago. So it was like doing a full circle for me. Yeah, quite a shock.
And what stage were you diagnosed with?
I was diagnosed with a stage 2A. So it was caught pretty soon, quite early, and I can again thank my daughter for that. And of course then I can also thank everybody at Smit. They were absolutely outstanding. It was late in the year, in November, everybody, the doctors and everybody are going off. Everybody's booked up until December the 15th, and then everybody takes a break. And Dr. Chick was fantastic. She picked up the phone and she made appointments with surgeons, and like within the next week I was in hospital. I was having my mastectomy done, and the following week I was back in hospital having my reconstruction done. And a week later I was up and about and just forging ahead. I do my self-examinations, but it was in the duct, so I would never ever have felt it. However, I did go to 2 surgeons. The first surgeon said to me, he's sure he can get it out with a hot wire. I came home and I told my daughter. She said, no mom, you have the breast removed. Not that I don't want you to have a breast, but I think we need not take any chances. So I went to a second surgeon for a second opinion, and he said to me, your daughter is 100% correct. We're going to remove this whole breast. And when they took the breast off, there was one in the duct, but there were 2 on the outside, which the mammo and the ultrasound had missed. And they were bigger than the one in the duct. But they still couldn't feel them on a breast exam. So yes, ladies, have yourself checked, have proper examinations, do everything you can to make sure you have your checkups regularly and self-examinations, and go and do extra things. Just check 100%. It's so important. It was a very bittersweet moment for me. On the day that I got the news that it was definitely breast cancer, my daughter had got the news that she had been accepted into Australia. So how do you actually be sad and try and be happy at the same time? So I just put her first, which is what I did when her dad died, and she was only 2 years old. I could have just curled up into a little ball, but instead I thought, I've got to live my life as a mother and a father now, and I've got to make sure she's got everything she would have had if she had a mother and a father. I've got to get her educated. So again, I put my feelings aside and I thought about her, and I said, you know what, I'm going to be strong. I'm going to beat this. You just accept your Australian offer. You do this, and I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to be strong, and there's nothing wrong with me. I ain't going anywhere. The only place I'm going to is to come and visit you in Australia. And so I pushed it aside. So I really sort of blocked it out, but I had a good reason to do it. Yeah, well, she was fantastic, and of course she could sneak into the hospital in her Smit uniform and come and see me in the ward, when anybody else couldn't. And fortunately for me, it was before COVID, so I could still have visitors and everything. And my husband and I've got my folks who live on my property in the granny flat. They were all absolutely fantastic. But I've got to say that I am quite a strong, determined person. And after the first operation here at Parklands, I actually asked the surgeon to write me a letter because my daughter had to go to Australia in the January. Now this is the end of November, and I had my passport renewed, and they'd send me an SMS while I was in hospital to say your passport is ready. So, and I needed to get the passport back to get my visa. So on the day I was being discharged, he said to me, "You're looking great." I said, "I need a letter from you, please. I need a letter to say that I don't need to stand in the queue at Home Affairs." He says, "Well, you're looking so well. Please leave your pajamas on, otherwise they're not going to believe you ill, okay?" So I went straight from hospital in my pajamas to the Home Affairs and fetched my passport to go to Australia. So yeah, I've got a pretty good support system.